Hello Sagittarius, welcome to 2018. This is Gwendolyn. Welcome back to the channel, or if it's your first time here, welcome. I hope all of you have been having a wonderful beginning to 2018, the first few weeks. And I apologize for not getting your video out sooner for January. But what I'm going to do with this video is go mid-January to mid-February. I had been doing some traveling, and I know you Sages are the natural travelers of the zodiac, so hopefully you'll understand. But I'm going to just bump it out to mid-January to mid-February, which I kind of like because it lines up with the lunar cycle. We've got a new moon in Capricorn happening tomorrow, January 16th. And then we've got a full moon at the end of the month here on January 31st. And then we've got another new moon on February 15th. So it's actually bookending the new moons quite nicely. So let's take a look at what's going on for you, Sag, for mid-January to mid-February. We have that new moon in Capricorn happening January 16th. And that's happening in your second house of possessions, of assets, of finance, things you own, things you possess, things you value. So new moons are wonderful times to set intentions and plant seeds for things that you would like to create and draw to you. And specifically in that house of the second house, it can be like new money that's coming in. What is it that you would like to own, possess, or have, Sag? Setting an intention for something that you would like to own. It might be a good time to do a vision board of something you'd like to bring to yourself, or set a new belief regarding money, possessions, assets, finance. Wonderful time to just begin something, could even be a new job, that brings in new money, brings in something that you would like, maybe even a project that pays you something. So second house, wonderful time to begin an endeavor or set an intention or plant a new seed that has to do with second house themes, money, possessions, assets, values. You can really draw something to you in this time and watch it develop over the course of the next 6 months and have some nice results by the time that you get the full moon in Capricorn 6 months from now. It may even just be a new way of approaching money, like a new budgeting system. And by 6 months from now, you may be surprised at the accumulation of money that you have based on that budgeting. So that's the opportunity for that new moon in Capricorn in your second house. Drawing something to you, setting an intention, planting a seed for something that you would like to own, possess, have as an asset, something that can bring some greater abundance to your second house. Then January 31st, we have this full moon in Leo. This is in your 9th house, Sag. So this is the house of higher learning, higher understanding. Some of you may be having revelations around this time. Full moons usually have to do with completion or letting something go, something coming to fruition. Interesting, I'm getting this Two of Swords pop out. So something that you may have been undecided about or being stuck and feeling like you don't know which way to go. I'm getting that around that full moon you may get some illumination, some higher learning, some insight. 9th house has to do with travel. It's your home placement, Sag. So it has to do with travel, philosophy. You Sages are naturally curious creatures, and you are the explorers of the zodiac. So it's all those themes. It has to do with travel, philosophy, exploring other cultures, other lands, other ways of thinking, higher learning, spirituality, religion. You know, the higher octave of things. When we go out and explore the world and we learn about new things, that's all Sag energy. So it's also a blue moon because it is the second full moon in January. We had that full moon at the beginning of the month, and this is the second full moon. So when we have 2 full moons in a month, the second one is called a blue moon. And I usually encourage people to do something during a blue moon that they don't normally do. There's that one little phrase or saying that says, you know, once in a blue moon, I'll do this. So I encourage you to step out of your regular routine. You know, if it's something that you have a hard time doing or confronting or stepping out of your comfort zone, a blue moon's a good time to do that. Or reach out to people that, you know, go somewhere new that you haven't gone before. Do something in a different way. Something's going to be illuminated for you during this full moon in your 9th house. Maybe some spiritual insight. And it's a great time to take action on that because you are actually releasing some old, outdated mode, or you're coming to completion on something. You may be releasing something during this full moon, and that 9th house is really illuminated. So higher learning, spirituality, philosophy, religion, other cultures, and travel. That's all featured for you during this full moon in Leo, in your 9th house. What else have we got going on? At the middle of February, we have a new moon in Aquarius, and that's in your 3rd house of communication, Sag. So right around, you know, the day after Valentine's, you have the opportunity to say things in a new way. And maybe in a really offbeat, unique way, because that's what Aquarius rules. Gosh, we've got that 2 of Swords popping up again. And this is around the new moon. So it's saying that if you have been tied to thinking between one thing or another and not feeling like you can move forward, you may receive some insight around that full moon, which you can actually break out of by this new moon in Aquarius by doing something completely different, completely out of the ordinary. You know, Aquarius is ruled by Uranus, which is the unpredictable planet, and it comes out of left field. Sometimes Aquarians appear to be on planet X and planet 9. So when you have that new moon in Aquarius, it means that you can think totally differently, and you can say things completely differently because 3rd house rules communication and words and ideas. So it may mean that you are saying things in a completely new, even offbeat, quirky way. You may have some sort of message to share, or you may use different words, or you may use a different voice even, or different language. Really great time to begin saying things. Some of you can even be like taking up a new language. It's a wonderful time with a new moon in your 3rd house to learn a new language. But some of you, I'm really getting that it really has to do with your communication style, Sag. And it's a wonderful opportunity to begin communicating in a different way that feels maybe offbeat or quirky or silly or unusual, eccentric. Those are all Aquarian themes. So if you begin that right at the, like maybe if you write poems, begin writing poems, like I'm thinking of E.E. Cummings, who had a very unique offbeat sort of style, but it had a real voice to it. So you may just be communicating or saying or expressing things in a new, unique, offbeat, eccentric way. It's an opportunity for that. And if you begin that during that middle of February, God, it's the 3rd time. Really, something's going on, Sag, with you and some sort of indecision, not knowing whether to go left or right. But with this new moon depicted in this card, you've got 2 new moons to break out of this. Really interesting. I'm really getting by that new moon in Aquarius. You'll be able to say or speak something that breaks you out of that stasis, whatever's going on. When it pops up 3 times like that, I'm getting the new moon, the full moon, and then the new moon again. That's when it's going to finally resolve for you, Sag. So let's see what else is going on for you this month and next month. We've got Knight of Coins showing up middle of January next to Queen of Rods. I'm reading this as you, Sag. So there may be an earth sign around you who is willing to be of service. Usually the knights work for the queens or are under their authority. So this could be a Taurus, a Virgo, or a Capricorn who just wants to help you or is on your side. You know, both of these cards have this yellow background, which is all about sunniness and optimism and getting things done. Here's someone who's very skilled at practical matters, you know, sort of like the nuts and bolts of getting something done, who is really in alignment with your vision, Sag. This is like someone who wants to either be at your beck and call, whether this is male or female, someone who wants to serve you. Maybe this is an employee. Maybe this is a child, one of your children. Maybe this is a very ardent lover. Maybe this is someone who, a business partner who has the same vision as you. But I'm seeing, Sag, whoever this is, there's someone who really wants to help you at the middle of January. So look around to see who that might be. Even if you're feeling out of sorts, even if you're feeling off balance, or you don't know where your serenity or your peace is, there's a lot of hope and a lot of, you know, your dreams coming true. The star really has to do with having a vision and believing in it. You know, I always think of the Jiminy Cricket song, When You Wish Upon a Star, when I see this card, because it's really about hope, you know, having wishes fulfilled. It means finding balance. What I'm seeing that's interesting here, Sag, is that she's kneeling on the ground between the earth and the water. And with Temperance here, this is someone who's standing on the ground between, you know, the earth and the water. What I'm noticing is that you may have to get down low. You may have to employ humility in order to find your balance at the middle of January, Sag. You may have to like sort of strip down all of your clothes. Like what I'm seeing that is like outer status or definitions, and just be really authentic in who you are. And that's going to be what grounds you. That's what is going to give you stability and peace and harmony and make you recognize your own unique value in the world just as who you are. One of the things that's depicted by the star is that she recognizes her own inherent intrinsic value just as the tree depicted, or the bird or the flower or anything in that natural landscape. She recognizes her place in that natural landscape and therefore her own value just as she is, without any definitions, without any pretense, without any status, without any outer sort of shell of defining, you know, I'm this title, I'm that title. She's completely valuable just as she is, without any of that. And also balanced. So I'm really seeing that if you're feeling emotionally off balance, if you're feeling unstable, if you're feeling any sort of lack of peace, you may need to just come down to earth and employ humility, engage with the earth plane. Instead of these high lofty ideals, potentially, trying to be an angel, just be a human. Allow yourself, you know, frailty. Allow yourself flaws. Allow yourself to just show up authentically and naturally. And by the way, there's someone who wants to help you. So there's a lot of good stuff. The middle of January here, Sag. Let's see what else is coming up. King of Cups. This could be a water sign person, Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio, who's very loving, who's very considerate. Sometimes this is read as like the perfect lover or the perfect husband. In this case, it also could be perfect wife, because I usually read court cards as male or female. But it's someone who's very loving, and again, someone who wants to support and help you, Sag. You know, you've got a knight here, you've got a king here. They're in support of you, so I see you getting lots of help, especially if you're having any sort of struggles or pitfalls. Or the Five of Wands is usually just like competition. It's like traffic. It's the petty annoyances of life. It's when things get covered up in red tape and it's just like aggravating and frustrating. If you're experiencing any of that, you know, problems in essence, there's someone who's a water sign who can really help you with that. You know, whether this is a counselor or a friend or a parent, a family member, they're really there to turn your world from all this strife and problems to just helping you be your radiant natural self and in your own authority and receiving help. So lots of good stuff happening. We've got Five of Swords and Queen of Cups. Look at this, Sag. These are both 5 cards. Five of Wands, Five of Swords, which usually have to do with conflict, with resolving something. This has to do with more of action, so conflict in action, and this is conflict of thought. So I call this picking up the pieces, trying to find wisdom and insight that is available to you after conflict has passed. And there's these two heart-centered people, very much in their own authority in terms of the heart, mastery of emotion, master of the heart, who are really here to help and soothe you through whatever you may be going through in terms of conflict of action and thought. I'm going to encourage you to really receive help and nurturing. Look at the cups that they have offering. Those are cups of the heart. So it's cups of compassion, usually intuition, emotion, caring, nurturance. That's what cups people are about. And they're two experts in the field who really want to help you with whatever's going on here in the center. So if towards the end of January and the beginning of February you're experiencing this strife, you're feeling unbalanced, turn to some water signs or some people who are around you who serve that authority of the heart. Again, whether it's counselor, teacher, even just a good friend, it can be someone who can really help you through that, Sag. Sorry about that, Sag. Someone just came to my door. And it's been interesting, even within this reading, I'm kind of getting interruptions of like people coming in. So I'm going to say there might be some starts and stops between January. It might feel like you're going forward, then going backwards, going forward. Or just that maybe people are coming into your experience. And this could be very beneficial. Instead of feeling like you have to battle it out and have conflict and try to figure everything out on your own, you know, let these people of the heart come in to help you and nurture you and serve in the way that they can. They're really your peers and your equals in terms of kings and queens. But they have a different kind of energy from you, Sag. You have fire energy, which is really about getting things done, being active, being curious, being, you know, going for it. You Sages are normally very optimistic and happy-go-lucky, but sometimes just raw energy and action can't solve everything. These people, these king and queen of the heart, of water, of emotion, of compassion, they're going to be really helpful in just sort of diffusing any of this chaos or conflict that's going on, either in your mind or your actions. If there's problems surrounding, if there's competition, you know, see, they have a very sort of soft, compassionate nature for you. And they can really just put this in perspective, is what I'm getting. What else? Then Ten of Cups comes in. If you're able to drink from the cups that these counselors, friends, family members, these water people, again, Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer, or just someone who has that archetype of the person from the heart, maybe a counselor, look at where you end up, Sag. You know, 10 of Cups, it's the most amount of cups that you can receive. It's the most amount of happiness. It's sort of like saying they show you how to operate from cups energy, and then you have all the cups that are possible. You know, it's the end of the rainbow. It's the gift. It is feeling completely happy and nurtured. This is usually family energy too, joy of the family. So it means celebrating and enjoying peace in the family. So good stuff coming, Sag. Let's see what else is coming up. Forgiveness. Yeah. Maybe having a hard time forgiving someone, especially if they're an air sign, or they may be having a hard time forgiving you. This is usually Libra, Gemini, or Aquarius. So if there's someone who is an air sign in your environment, especially if they're a family member, you may be having a hard time forgiving them, or they may be having a hard time forgiving you, but that is actually what is going to allow this 10 of Cups to come in. Letting the ghosts of the past go. Instead of arguments and quibbling over things, you really need to employ this spiritual fire in order to let any old baggage go, any old karma, old stories. You kind of need to employ this Emperor energy, which is father energy. This is the masculine. This is structure, stability. You know, both of these cards carry the sword of the truth. But he's in the upright position and she's in the reverse. So they're truths that are not the same. They're kind of opposite truths. But regardless, this forgiveness is really going to help, and it's going to be what will allow you to experience this Ten of Cups, which means that your heart feels filled, means that you feel peace and joy and harmony, especially within the family. So I'm going to encourage you, what I'm really getting, by the way, I'm going to encourage you to stand in your strength, is what I was going to say with Emperor, but what I'm really seeing is that these two people, whoever they may be, you know, that could be a couple, it could be your parents, it could be just friends. Coming from the heart is really going to help you in feeling stabilized, especially if you're not feeling it towards the middle of January. By the middle of February, you're going to be in a very stable, strong position with a lot of good stuff coming in, the end of the rainbow. But I'm going to encourage you to employ forgiveness, especially as it relates to a very strong woman or someone who speaks very sharply, who may have some sharp words for you, especially if they're a family member or someone from your past. You may have a hard time forgiving them or yourself in the situation. There may be sharp words that are shared, but I'm going to encourage you to do that because it will help you resolve things, maybe long-standing issues, battles. And it's going to actually put it in a perspective of love and harmony and compassion and order. So that's really, you have some nice wishes being fulfilled this month, Sag. You just need to open up to them. And really coming from a place of the heart and compassion, especially if you can receive help or guidance from someone who lives that, it's really going to put you in a nice place. And it may help you solve any issue with like an air sign person or someone who has sharp words against you in forgiving them and putting it in a perspective. That's going to be really helpful for you this month, Sag. So that's my reading for you from mid-January to mid-February. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to give it a thumbs up or share it with another Sagittarius. And again, I want to thank you for your patience with this reading. I know I didn't get it up for you by January 1st, but I'm just bumping it out 2 weeks. And I like the way it's lining up with the lunar cycles. We also have, by the way, that full moon in Leo is also going to be a lunar eclipse, so it may bring up issues from 6 months ago, maybe clearing out and finishing up anything that wasn't in your consciousness then. It may come to the surface right around this time. So that's my reading for you, Sag. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you're having a wonderful start of 2018. I'm really liking this year. And as always, if you want to book a personal reading with me, you can always do so. I'll have my email below. It's readingsbygwendolyn@gmail.com. And then I can always just send you a link to book the reading. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of January and beginning of February. And I will check in with you again. Thanks so much for watching. Yours in the stars.